Welcome everybody to our fourth video in the Making Fields Mandatory series. In today's session, we are going to show you how you can utilize business rules. And your guides for today are Ulla Norlander and me, Ivan Betev. So I hope you're ready for some extensive knowledge. So Ulla, I presume I have already spoiled everything, right? Again.
No.
So that we can start by jumping straight into the into the platform, and then telling people what they might do with this very powerful feature called business rule.
Yeah.
So the stage is yours.
Thank you. So business rules is maybe the thing that's not anyone would take as a first option in regards to making fields mandatory, because it's not a native solution, but it's still a viable thing that you can do, and it has some ups and downs, but we'll go into discussing those later on. So let's try something out.
I presume we can start by creating a business rule.
Yeah. So the first thing that we're gonna say about this is, now we're talking about business rules because previously episodes we've been diving into UI policies and client scripts, which work on the client side.
And also, of course, the dictionary entries.
Yeah. So they act on your browser, and the business rule does not. It acts on the server side. It acts on the database layer. So it's a bit of a different approach.
All right. To create, to utilize business rule for such purpose, we will have to use a special. What type of business rule we are going to use, Ulla?
Yeah, let's start by deselecting the advanced. We'll dive into that later on. I'll start with the simple ones first, to not overwhelm the viewers.
Let me call it first.
Yeah, something that describes your business rule. Okay, so business rule, the purpose of them are to dictate how your application should behave or should not behave. So hence the name business rule. So we have a file here that's saying something how our application should behave. And this time we're wanting to enforce it to use fill out field as mandatory, and we'll just see how it behaves. So let's first just discuss around the filter condition. In my opinion, these should always be used. Very rarely a business rule should be used without conditions. It should almost always have some conditions applied, so it doesn't run on every operation on this table.
Yeah, I personally, in my daily life, I would like to clearly establish a condition which identifies the subset of records, right? Or a state of the form which should be used as a unique trigger for the logic I would like to build using either it's a business rule, a client script, or whatever else. So we highly recommend taking this approach.
Yeah.
And maybe a couple of words about the business ruled form itself. So I presume many of us have already seen this form. And as you can see, as on the default view, you do not really see much. You can just specify the name, select the table, see application, mark it active or inactive. In some cases, if you need to quickly disable the logic but don't want to delete it, which is actually also normal practice to keep records instead of deleting them from the platform. You can just come here and deactivate it and then save it. And then there's actually two basic things, right? When to run and what to do. So on the when to
and
run,
also one little detail, which we haven't had the option to do on our previous sessions. We have the insert and the update, which allows us to specify, should this rule only apply to a new record, or should it apply to an update of an existing one, or maybe both?
Yeah, and then we can also specify the role condition, which will
also overlooked by many.
And that's a very, very nice feature to have if you want to restrict the execution of the rule to a specific roles or associated with the specific roles. So in this case, what do we do?
Let's go and see if we can use it in the same way as we did previously and enforce that we should have a value on our corporate ID field.
Okay,
so let's
so
specify
as a condition. Corporate ID is not empty. I should think that should be enough. We will be playing with the existing record, so I will select update. And do we need to specify an action?
Well, we should. Either way, it's otherwise it would be hard to show that it's actually running.
So
kind of purposeless. So let's start by adding a message. Oh my God, that's the longest message ever.
Yeah, no worries. I presume just for the demonstration purposes, it should be enough.
Yeah.
Let's save it. Let's go to the one of the previous records. And let's try to put something in corporate ID. As you can see now, we do not see any message because corporate ID is empty. So value. Save it. And here we go. We see that our business rule have reacted in a background and was executed exactly as we specified it on the when to run tab.
Yeah.
So, but why actually we can use this feature and technology for preventing or for enforcing some mandatory fields?
Yeah, that would require that we use the other option in the far bottom here to abort the action, which would prevent the user from submitting a record or updating a record, giving a certain set of rules that you should not complete the form without the corporate ID and some value in the corporate ID in this. So we should maybe change the conditions to it shouldn't not allow it to be empty.
It's a good idea. So in this case,
Makes more sense.
We need to trigger condition or to trigger this business rule only when corporate ID value is empty.
Yeah,
and
makes more sense.
Yes, we need to specify to the user that or like that this value should be provided, right? So we also need to specify it in the message. So let's do it like this. So now if I save it.
And let's showcase on one more thing. You changed the message, right? And now without reloading the form, the new message should appear when you change the value to an empty value.
Yeah, let's try this. Save. Oh, yes, it is.
So in contrast to the UI policies, which you have to have reload the form before the logic would appear, this is executed directly when you save the changes.
and it did not allow me to save the changes. You see, if I reload it, corporate ID gets back. And another thing is what I personally don't like and would like to see in the future releases probably is an option to select the type of the message, because currently everything that is checked, that is displayed using the Actions tab, Add Message, and Message itself is displayed as an informational one, but actually could be a little bit more, more aggressive, like the top one, which has a red color and also has the cross. This is actually the error message type of the type of a message we see on the top. And by the way, unfortunately, ServiceNow does not really allow you to easily remove the messages that are unnecessary here, right? Because why do we see two messages if we could have been just, fully
valid point.
Yeah. Wait, one message should be enough, but this one is not needed, and this is the system one, which is executed every time the abort action is executed. So even if I remove it from here and save it and then try to update and execute this business rule, initiate the business rule. Wait a second.
What? Did you not save?
I removed it, but it's still there. Oh.
Did you save it?
Or did I? Or I didn't. All right. So that's because add message is still there, and it will probably, if we open it, the source code is empty. It will anyway add the empty message on the top. So to avoid it, and if you don't want to be very descriptive to the user, just remove it, select abort action, and that will be enough to see invalid update on the top.
Yeah. And one more thing to note is there's no, if you switch to the form, there's no indication on the form when we have this processing behavior. There's no indication to the user that the corporate ID must be filled in. So there's also a thing to note.
Yeah.
This is only shown after the execution has been done. So you have to, okay, so I'm supposed to fill this in also. So maybe you should use this option in a combination with the UI policy to cover all bases.
Or the things like a form, let's say a field message can also work using the client script and stuff like that. But it generates a little bit of complexity on the top, and I presume one of the best use cases for abort action business rule, where you need to really stop the execution if you have like a very, very complex logic you need to check your record against, and then you can do it in the business rule and prevent the record from creation or from changing. But that's a story for another day. So what are we going to do next, Ula?
Let's see. If you just remove the message, or no, add a message again. Some kind of message here. And let's see how the business rule behaves in the list edits.
Oh, amazing. Our favorite thing, list edits.
Because we saw that could be some issues there when you're working with UI policies or client scripts.
All right, let me add the corporate ID field to the list view. Now we can see that here on our record we have the test value, which we were trying to remove while staying on the form. Now let's try to remove it here. And we cannot. And by the way, here we do not see this invalid message error.
Yeah, that's a thing to note. The only message you see in this view is this one you specified. So if we haven't had that message, nothing at all would have appeared, which would have been most confusing if you would have a user edit records in the list view.
Exactly, and that's.
So let's show this also.
Let me remove the message, save the record, and then try to delete the corporate ID. You see, so nothing happens.
Not a very good user experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so one more thing that we can showcase, and if we switch to when to run, let's talk about dot walking.
Oh, yes, very good point.
So a business rule, you can also dot walk to a reference field to another table and check on condition on another table to see if this should be happening. For instance, if we have a reference to the user here, I think it's requested for. Requested.
Before you see this menu here, requested for points to user fields, make sure that you select the show related fields, otherwise it will not pop up.
Mm.
In the newer interfaces, they solved it with the very neat tiny arrow icons, which allows you just to drill down up to multiple levels. But in this case, we'll show it the old way. This particular condition builder. So let's select the requester. And let's say...
And you have access to all the fields on the requester, which is this user table.
Yeah.
So we could say that a certain department should be selected.
And here we can select the, what do we have? IT. We can select IT. And
let's go for some I have prepared. Let's go for sales instead.
Okay.
So now we have, if you saw when you loaded the record, you saw how the sysid would fly by and then it interpreted to sales. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go to actions and see what should be doing. Let's add a message again. So, I don't know. Add some silly message here. Yeah.
Actually should not be from sales.
Yep.
Sales are banned. All right. Now we'll give it a couple of seconds to save it. We can come here and we can select the requester. Who is the one you prepared for us is from sales?
So Beth Angling is from sales.
Oh, the good old Beth. So let's try and save it. What is happening? So first of all, of course, because we are in the scoped application.
Yeah. So the first time the business rule is executing, it's checking its permissions. Can I access the sysuser table and read those fields? And then when it's done doing that, it's doing the execution as expected. It stopped us from executing because sales is not allowed, and then hence the error message and the info message appeared.
Very nice and neat feature. The only thing is probably to not forget is in order to control your performance, right? If you have a lot of similar executions to the different to other tables using .walk, we need to be aware that after the reference field, the .walked field is referenced, there is a glide query in the background to the database.
Yeah. Good call. Now, okay, so let's see this. What we have done so far, it's been all the things you can do in a no-code fashion. So with business rules, there's also the advanced option, which you start off with. So let's see what's in there. You can see instantly that you have expanded more options on here when to run. We have the delete and query options. Let's not dive into this for today's purpose. We can have a deeper dive on business rules some other time. And we have an order activity, so we can change the ordering and how, if we have many business rules, which one should run first and so on. And then we have an additional tab for advanced also available.
Exactly. So in advanced,
not so much is shown. So in order to use the advanced functions, you need to deactivate the checkboxes you had on the Actions tab.
Exactly. Because otherwise they will collide.
Yeah.
And it's I think I spent once stupidly thinking what is happening, and then I realized yes I had some other icons available. So you can see now that on advanced tab we got two fields displayed on the form. One is for condition, another one is for the script itself. That's why it's called advanced. And by default, we are now always locked in the new ECMAScript notation, so 2025. So all the notation features are available here.
Yeah.
And sometimes there is a question, hey guys, why do I need the condition here if I have the condition here? And it's a good one. So first of all, they both work.
They both execute.
Yes. But
if
in this
conditions are given.
In this one, let's say you can create a reference to a script include or a global business rule, which it's a tricky one, where you can execute much more complicated or much more complex condition evaluation.
Yeah, and some conditions are not available in the condition builder. Like if you want to run a business rule only on interactive sessions, meaning there's a user behind, and it's not an integration running, for example.
Lots of APIs that you can use in the code will be available for you in the condition, and so on. All right, where we go from here?
Okay, so similar as in the Actions tab, we have two things that need to be set up, or could be set up. First, if you want to have some informational or error message appearing when this business rule is executing.
Exactly. This is where we have an option to at least select between a couple of message types, right? And one of them is error message, which is this red balcon that we saw on the top with invalid update message. So we can now use it here. And we can tell like something similar, right? We did in the previous steps. And user cannot be from the sales step. And here, unfortunately, we do not have a checkbox to select, so we need to specify abort action in the code using think action, right? No.
Current.
Yeah.
Set abort action.
Set abort action. And we need to set it to true.
Oh.
In this case, first, system will display the message and then prevent the execution of the rule. And we can check it right now. I will refresh, select Beth, and then save it. And you can see now our message is red.
Yeah.
And we are preventing Beth to be selected as a requester.
So let's try just see if we can use halfway here and halfway in the actions. See if you can comment out the set abort action here. And then add the abort action here and see if that's also a valid option.
Oh. Okay, we presume that the script is still there. What happens? Will it be ignored?
No.
No, it's not.
It's not viewable on the form, but it's still executing. And you saw that the processing stopped, but now it stops due to the action tab. That's aborted the action.
Wow, that's something that I didn't know. I mean, I still remember this situation where you have the ACL scripts executed even if they are not, if they are not visible on the form. But I didn't know that this is the same for the business rule. It's a nice one.
Yeah, and it's also a reminder to never leave code behind that shouldn't be executed, because someone might change the behavior and just leave the code as is, and disregard it, and then it will be executed anyway. So clean up your mess if it's not supposed to be used.
Clean up your mess. That's a good one.
or someone else's mess.
Yeah, exactly. And there will be a lot if you are a new one to this world. All right, so I presume we will stick to the code one for now.
Yeah. And also one more thing to note in the code way versus the no code way is that if you wanted the message to be translated, then this is the only way that you could use it.
Oh, yes.
Because the actions with the message there, it's always the message that you input in the screen. So it's if you want to work in a multilingual environment, then you would have to go this way and add which message should be used and which language should be used. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. You will be able to do this using the gs.getMessage.
Yeah.
And then the message will be evaluated against the message table where you store your translations.
Yeah.
And displayed in translated way. Good. So, where do we go from here?
Let's see how we can work our way through a script, in a background script. let's make it somewhat easier by enforcing a corporate ID instead. Because script-wise, with a reference to a requester would be hard to follow.
Yeah.
So
Let me just quickly modify the message.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're good. Let's save it
And try it.
and try to set corporate ID. To
Blank string.
blank string. What will happen then? Yeah. We see that the execution was blocked.
Yeah.
And you also see the message here.
Yeah.
And
you see
what is
the business rule that blocked it.
Exactly, which is important. This is, you also see the business rule with its ID and the name. This is how you can understand what is causing the
or
trouble.
debugging.
Debugging is important. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. But there's still a way for us to override this business rule implementation. So there's an option in the guide record where you can select to deselect that business rules and such shouldn't be executed.
Oh, it's a set workflow.
Yeah.
So if we set using a set workflow method to false, then if I execute
this basically says don't execute any business rules, flows, workflows
any
that
logic
should be triggered in regards to this operation that's happening.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. We got our record updated.
Yeah.
This one is a dangerous one. I prefer to be to be very, very careful.
Unless must be needed.
Yeah. I fully agree here.
It's very powerful, but it could also break your instance because maybe you have some data dependencies that would be broken if you execute code like this. So use with caution.
Be careful.
Yeah.
All right, guys, this was it for today's video. And let's just summarize what we have seen today. So Ula, if you have a couple of words to wrap it up, please go ahead.
So as we've seen with business rule, it's kind of easy and quick to be, you can set it up kind of easy, and you can use it in both no code manner and in the code fashion. So you have some options there, and as we discussed, this is the first option where it's easily accessible to dictate if it should be only running on a new record or an update of an existing record. And on the downsides, we have that there's no indicator on the form showing that a field should be mandatory. So maybe you should use this option combined with the UI policy to help the user understand that the field should be filled in. And it can be overridden by script, but use at your own discretion.
And the most important thing we learned from this video is clean up your mess.
Yeah, that's a good pointer.
All right, guys, we hope this video was really helpful for you. Please get in touch with us in comments or in social networks like LinkedIn for additional guidance or if you have any questions. And we'll see you in the final episode about
mandatory fields in 1 week.
Yes. Have a nice one.
Have a good
Take
one.
care.